Yeah, you gotta get more
The
water.
fire is toasty, my nuts are roasty. Fireside talks. Do it.
Feeling it. Did you know that FDR had fireside chats?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're like him.
Not really.
Yeah, we're not the president. I guess that's the difference.
I mean, I'm pretty great though.
Yeah, but you're not presidential great.
I don't know. We'll find out, I guess.
I don't really like presidents anyways. I don't think they're that great. I think they're all scumbags.
I would beg.
Most of them.
Most of them, you know.
I mean, Reagan was the beginning of the scumbag order of presidents, because he was the first one who was purchased by the companies. If you
Yeah.
What was it? JC, Jimmy Carter, Jesus Christ, the man, Jimmy Carter.
Do you know he fishes right near here? Spruce Creek, up by Tyrone.
Seriously?
Yeah.
No way.
He goes to Del Grosso sometimes.
Did you see him?
No.
No, you've never seen him.
No, he comes off times, so he doesn't have to talk to people.
He was a great man.
Did you see he just beat cancer?
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
That means the Illuminati exists.
Does it?
Yeah. The elite and powerful can only be saved from cancer.
I was just thinking about this the other night. I was like, where do you think America would be if JFK didn't get shot? Would it be better or worse?
See, I wonder sometimes, like, why was he shot?
Mafia.
What, you think it was the mafia?
Yeah.
But
well, remember his whole shit with Frank Sinatra
there's
and
a lot
the
of
mafia.
stuff. But there was a lot of stuff that he wanted to expose.
Yeah.
That it very, very possibly could have been from the mafia, the mob, the CIA, the KGB.
Wasn't that good that he was trying to expose it?
Absolutely.
That's the complete opposite of Barack Obama with the whole whistleblowers and everything.
Well, he bought into it. He's paid off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Yeah. But, it was a little weird. JFK, apparently 2 days before his death, I heard this in astronomy class senior year.
Yeah.
So, I'm not sure how true it is, but apparently there were documents on his desk that he was going to release in a press release.
Okay.
About Area 51. And they said that might have been another reason. Yeah, right. Well, and then I also think that he was seen as a high risk to the government.
Yeah.
Because we had Bay of Pigs with him, and we had the 13 days of the Cuban Missile Crisis under him. And so who was to say that in his next term, which he most definitely would have been elected, he was a great president.
Yeah.
What other destructive things could he have brought to the table that potentially could have ended the planet right then? Because the Cuban Missile Crisis was probably the worst one, where the Soviets were actually the ones who defused it. It was Khrushchev was the one who said, "Hey, let's not do this," and then the Soviets kicked him out of office because they said that he wasn't a strong enough leader. Because he wouldn't go to nuclear war. Yeah. Which, I like Khrushchev. I like him. He was a good, whatever they called them. Were they the dictators then? Were they? Because
they weren't still czars, were they?
No, they weren't. No, that was Vladimir Lenin with the Bolshevik Revolution.
Yes.
Yeah. Took that out.
I couldn't remember.
Yeah.
The thing I wanted to ask was because JFK was trying to expose this stuff and it was so secretive. When did we get there? Because, at the beginning there was kind of, everybody knew what was going on. Wasn't that was the point of America, was that we're governed by ourselves, not this elite that has all these secrets and everything. When did that happen?
I mean, I want to say the 40s with the atomic bomb.
Yeah.
Nobody knew about that.
Yeah.
But that's only the first thing that I can think of. Maybe there was more things before that.
I feel like it just got too complex.
I think it started after organized crime. Because that was whenever the government started...
Prohibition and everything.
And then they just started making these bureaucracies that didn't exist prior to this.
Yeah.
Like the FBI, the Central Intelligence Agency... all the FDR programs, which most of them are pretty good.
Social Security.
Yeah, but they were, if you think about it, it all added to the complicated system in which we exist today.
Yeah.
But they never go back and get rid of antiquated ones. And that's why I think it just keeps on getting worse.
Yeah.
Because we can never say, maybe the TVR shouldn't exist anymore. That's not really a big issue, you know?
Yeah.
But nobody will just take that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really just a big expensive thing that doesn't do much anymore. I mean, are they still building dams? I don't think so. Like that was the TVR was built for flood control, and then they controlled it, and then there's no more dams to be built.
Well, and I think another overlying umbrella of all of this is government doesn't evolve with the people anymore. Wasn't that the point of amendments and everything, to change? Like, this is the problem we're running into with guns and everything. It's not, like, what should be legal. We never defied that when military weapons started getting into the hands of civilians. We never thought, oh, what if one of them's crazy and starts shooting up people? That could be dangerous. No, but right to bear arms, my friend, you know?
Well, the right to bear arms was supposedly created as a way to step up against totalitarian government.
Well, yeah.
Which could be argued that it's good that we have access to military-grade weaponry.
Yeah.
At the same time, it can be argued that it's quite dangerous.
Yeah, in the right hands, I mean...
Which anything in the wrong hands is just bad.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing we have to realize with this shooting thing. We don't have a gun problem. I mean, we have tons of guns.
We have a mental problem.
Yeah, we have a mental problem, and we have a mass shooting problem. And the mass shooting problem is, I don't know what you contribute that to. Is it the mental factor? Because some of these people are under the radar. Like, are we not looking for the right things?
Yeah.
I don't...
I mean...
And I think it's very hard for us to understand, because it's this giant, I keep calling it this giant big fucked up pot of stew, and it's just taking the gun out of the fucked up stew isn't going to make it good stew. It's still fucked up stew.
Yeah. There's a lot of things wrong with the stew that need to be taken out of the stew.
Let's stop using the metaphor.
I like the metaphor. It's a good metaphor. Stew is a complicated dish with a lot of different stuff in it, and too many things can make it a bad thing. So yeah.
But we need to address all the issues. Like, Obama's trying to address the fact that it is a mental issue, but he's still on the gun thing. And you're not taking guns from anyone.
That'll start a revolution.
That's the thing that I like that Bernie Sanders is saying, because he's from New Hampshire, or Vermont, sorry.
Yeah.
But he's like, I'm from Vermont, I understand you're not taking guns from any rural people, and they cling to their guns. That's not going to happen.
I like all the stuff that Bernie Sanders has been saying. I mean, just the other day he said something about the NSA and how he thinks that it's way too overpowered at this point, and it should only be looking for terrorists, not taking everybody's data.
Yeah, but here's my problem. This is all the stuff that Obama was saying when he ran for president, and look at it now. All the drones and the NSA and just all the shit that he said he was going to fix but didn't happen, because you can't do the things that you say.
Yeah, I was talking with our one friend the other day, and I was saying that to him, how if Bernie Sanders does get elected, he wants to do all this great stuff.
Yeah.
He wants to restore, his whole deal is he wants to restore the United States to the democracy that it's supposed to be, run by the people, not by the mega corporations.
Yeah.
But the problem with it is that all the other branches have been corrupted by the corporations. So the branch system that we've produced to try to prevent people from becoming too powerful is now working against us from stopping good things from happening.
Yeah.
And I feel like Bernie Sanders gets in, like you said, he'll have a lot of issues trying to get any legislation
the fact
passed.
is the Democrats don't have the House. They don't have the Senate, or majority in the Senate. I mean, we have the Vice President in the Senate, but
that doesn't matter.
It really doesn't.
No.
But all they have is the White House, And
yeah,
you can't really get much done with that.
With just
because bills have to go through both houses. So
I mean, it wasn't like that before. People used to do compromise, and there wasn't as much party polarity as there is today.
Well, yeah, there are so many different spectrums of the parties too. There's it kind of goes out in the middle. You have the people who are willing to compromise, then you get the little more crazy, then you get the really, really crazy people who just won't compromise, like a Ted Cruz figure, who's just completely against everything anyone says on
left.
the other side.
Yeah.
No matter what they say, they could say, we're going to kill all the puppies. And he'd be like, I want to kill all the puppies. Let's do it. Can't believe they want to save those puppies.
And the horrible thing is that these crazy people on either side are the people that the general populace want to support.
Yeah.
That's who they flock to.
It's because I think the general populace doesn't want to compromise.
They just want what
We're
they
not
want.
very smart. I
No.
don't know if you know this, but America's not very smart.
It's not.
We have states like Alabama and Mississippi where, the college students are reading on a 5th grade level. And it might be a problem.
Florida's education is terrible.
Yeah.
But they actually have a lot of people who aren't religious going to parochial schools.
Yeah.
Just to get a better education through the parochial school. Like here in Pennsylvania, you don't go to parochial school if you want a good education. We actually have a pretty...
No, like our Catholic school here.
Their 9th grade, their freshman math is on the same level as what we were in math in 7th grade.
So
they're learning pre-algebra
in
10th
high
grade.
school.
Yes.
That's ridiculous.
At a Catholic school.
But going back to the Florida education thing, I had a friend who lived here for a while. He wasn't that smart. He was like, what's below academic, like core academic or whatever we have. And then he went down there and he tested so high in their public school that he got to skip a grade. What?
Yeah.
What would I be? Sending me straight to college.
Whenever my cousin moved from here to North Carolina, he was in what would be considered academic here. He took a placement test there. They immediately just put him in all AP stuff.
Wow.
Whenever he got there.
That's probably not good.
That's national. Well, it doesn't matter. He was smart. He just wasn't trying.
Okay. That's all of our problems.
Yeah. But it's like if you go south, the education system just degrades immediately. And in the Midwest. In the South and the Midwest, education isn't all that great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, we're apparently getting this good education compared to other states, but I don't feel like we're that well educated.
Mm-mm. And most schooling is now training kids just to do tasks. There's no actual education. We're just trained to do a test.
Yeah.
Because before the tests, you used to be able to teach in wild and artistic ways. And so kids could learn to be creative and problem solve in ways that are actually beneficial to themselves and society as people. But now we're being trained to just complete tasks in a way, step A through Z.
Yeah.
It's almost like an assembly line. They're trying to condition mentally intelligent people into doing intellectual work in an assembly line sort of way, which is not the way that should be happening.
No, not at all. And I think it's because of this whole standardized curriculum and everything. Why should a teacher in Pennsylvania have to teach the same as a teacher in Utah?
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to bring up I don't know how Utah's education system is. Well, we could use Florida, for example, since they're apparently shitty. But why do we need to bring them up but bring the Pennsylvania kids down? I mean...
If the Pennsylvania kids can take it, then why not continue to teach them in the same way and teach them in more complicated ways?
And I think that's where our problem is with us in... worldwide rankings and stuff, because we're taking the smart kids down, which doesn't make any sense. When you have places like South Korea and China who are letting those kids exceed, and those are the ones that are doing really well on the tests.
Well, a lot of them succeed because the parents take their own time and money into getting the into getting the children like after school tutoring.
Yeah.
Even if they're already smart enough, they'll just
Yeah.
they'll go above and beyond and continue to push them further.
I was watching a CNN documentary. I think it's Singapore has the best education system in the world right now.
Really?
Which is crazy because they were an LDC country, which is like a third world country, and now they're like modernized and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But they're teaching. They only let teachers, like high school kids that want to go into teaching, you have to have a 4.0.
That's good.
To go become a teacher.
That's good.
Is it good? I don't know.
Well, you want smart people teaching.
You do want smart people, but some of the 4.0s aren't really good at teaching.
But
you might have a 3.5 who can teach better than...
That's fair. That is fair.
That's where I'm conflicted. I think it's great. I want the smartest people teaching me. Because we were just saying, like, our high school teachers weren't the brightest.
No, they weren't. Some of them weren't.
But
some of them were.
But some of them were very understanding, and you could actually talk to them, and they were people. I'm just saying, if they're all 4.0s, they might not be...
the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. They might feel as if they're... as if they're, like, held up on a pedestal. Sort of like what happens with honors programs in elementary schools.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which was so stupid.
Yeah.
I hate how they test you for gifted in, like, second grade.
That's what I mean, gifted.
Yeah, that's so stupid.
Yeah.
I missed it by, like, 5 points.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, I forget what I scored really high on. Critical thinking I scored really high in, but then I struggled with, like, reading or something, and they're like, you're not gifted. And I'm like, isn't critical thinking what you're looking for in a gifted
not reading.
It didn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense, our schooling system, and apparently ours is... That's scary if ours is really good in the nation.
Well, you have to ask then, why is this legislation being passed? Why do they want
money?
Well, I mean, what's easier to control? People
standardized.
Yeah. So you can just control every single person the same way, just indoctrinate an idea, almost.
Which I think is kind of making everyone get the same education. Isn't that kind of a communist thing? Making everyone equal?
Yeah.
Isn't that what we're against?
Yeah.
Isn't that everything America stands against?
I mean, if you actually look at communist education systems, like the Soviet Union, at its highest point in its education system, what they would do is they would have their 11-year-old and 12-year-old kids take an aptitude test. And based on how well they scored in certain categories, you would be sort of put down a path to only work on that. Still get, your basic core stuff, but they start you early.
Where were you saying this was?
The Soviet Union.
Okay.
In the 60s and 70s. Do they still do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was weird that the Soviet Union was the one that sort of thought of this, and it worked super well. And it still works.
Well,
and
that's why Europe still uses it.
Yeah. And if they didn't do so well on the mental stuff, but they did well on the mechanical stuff, they would put them into trade schools and teach them how to make things.
Well, that's how China works now. And
really?
China's pretty successful.
Yeah. It seems like any successful country has run an education system like that. We just want people who are dumb and do all the same thing as everybody else.
Yeah. Which, we don't really pick paths. It's always just... You can do whatever you want. Mm-hmm. You want to be an astronaut? You go for it, little guy. Mm-hmm. You want to be a bartender? You go for it, little guy.
Yeah.
But it's never like, this is what you have to do to be an astronaut. Yeah. And you have to be pretty fucking good at it, too. It's just, we need to stop setting these unrealistic goals for people who shouldn't have unrealistic goals. Like, from... I don't know when to determine this stuff. Like 4th or 5th grade, the aptitude. When do these other countries use the aptitude tests?
I'm not sure about the rest of Europe, but I know that the Soviet Union started doing it, like whenever equivalent to us being in 7th grade.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense.
Because college isn't for everyone.
Mm-mm. Definitely. That's the biggest scam in this country.
Yeah.
Is that we have commercials that just look like you're going to be a failure at life, and life is going to suck if you don't go to school. When in reality, there's this big bank that's making hand-over-fist money off of every single one of us, because we've been told that we have to go to college by a system, and our parents. I don't know about you, but my parents were all about me going to school. And
well, at least my mom was.
Whenever I started, at the end of this summer, I started thinking, like, I don't know if I want to do this. Like, it wasn't even like I was scared of it or whatever. It's like,
no, I just don't want to waste the money.
Right, because nobody gets a job anymore. Or not nobody, but...
Yeah, so what's the fucking point if you're not getting the job? These jobs are telling us we need the education to get the job, then we get the education, we don't get the job. So what's the point?
Yeah.
Why don't you just skip all the debt and just go into the job market?
Might as well. Or, there's more jobs in trade school now.
Yeah.
There's so many intelligent people going to trade school. I wish I would have gone to like a trade school for some sort of type of electrical engineering or something. They make so much money. And they go for 2 years. They come out with about $40,000 worth of debt, but they can pay that back off in like 2 years.
And it's a straight up education too. Yeah. It's no bullshit. Like, oh, you need to take this religion class because that's really going to help you with electrical engineering.
They just show you what you're doing.
Here's your fucking shit.
Yeah.
Do it.
And high schools all around the country demonize that sort of education.
Oh, yeah.
It's a type of it's probably a better quality of education now than just going to a school.
Yeah, well, I remember just joking about it in junior high, like vocational school and everything. Same. We would be like, that's where the dumb kids go. But now they're the kids with jobs. They're fucking rolling
so
over.
Much money.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's weird.
Well, we live in this free market capitalistic society that only works for a handful of rich people.
Mm-hmm.
And then everyone else is scum.
Yeah, nobody realizes...
Yeah, go ahead.
Nobody realizes that the few multi-billionaires are the people who control this country and control the majority of anything of its inner workings. That's why nothing gets done for the people. The politicians are all bought out by every single multi-billionaire.
Yeah.
See, Democrat and Republican, to them, is what social issues are we going to have to deal with. Yeah. As long as they don't touch the economy, I'm fine. Yeah. I don't care. And that's why nobody addresses the economy, nobody addresses war, nobody addresses education, nobody addresses anything that actually deals with people taking back over the government and taking back over power over this country.
Yeah.
They want us obsessed with being conservative liberal, Republican, Democrat. They want us to be divided. So we only care about this stupid social bullshit. Are gays getting married? Why would they care? Why would they give a shit? That's not gonna affect them in any way, shape, or form. Any sort of social policy like that, they don't care. It doesn't matter. And as long as they're making money, they don't care.
Yeah.
And for the majority, Republicans and Democrats are bought out by these mega corporations, so that way they only serve the agenda of these mega corporations.
Yeah.
And then you look at all the war in the country. War makes so much money. But think about whose money they're spending. They're spending our money, the taxpayers' money, to buy these big motherfucking machines to go over to countries that we don't even need to be over there for. To start these stupid wars with these people who we don't even care what they're doing.
Yeah.
We don't, the ISIS is not a threat. It legitimately is not a threat to the United States. Could never be a threat to the United States. Maybe it might kill, at most, a couple thousand people in this country. At most.
Yeah.
It's not going to destroy the whole country. And people just want to go to war and fight that. They're like, oh, what if it gets over here?
Bomb the shit out of them.
Do you know how many people get blown up in other places every single day?
By us. By drones.
Yeah. And they like, we're like, why do they hate us? Why do they hate us so much? And then we go over there, we topple a government over a civil war that's happening within, and this is how a civil war is supposed to work. The government and people rise up, or the government still has their leader. Yeah. Then the people slowly start to rise up until one person emerges. And people are like, we want to follow this guy. This is the model that we want to follow. Yeah. And then until that guy becomes more powerful than the government, then they take over the government, and then he's the new government. But what we have perverted civil war into this dumb thing. I don't even know what it is anymore. Anytime a civil war starts, anywhere in the world pretty much, with anything that we want, we go in, we back the rebellion, but then we replace the person who would naturally become the person of power. We replace that, and we're like, we're a country. We are a country, and we are leading your revolution. Well, that creates a power vacuum when we leave. So then the government that we make them set up falls apart, falls under, and then ISIS becomes a thing.
Well, yeah, look at Iraq. It's completely devastated. Yeah. They have no government anymore. ISIS is just lurking in.
Yeah.
But the thing I don't get is, why do we have to spread this democracy around?
Isn't that like one of the keys of democracy? You have to want it. You can't just like force it up somebody's ass.
It doesn't make sense to me, because other cultures, they've been living their way for so many years. Why are we the fucking right one? Just because America's been around for so long?
We haven't been around that long, honestly.
I only give America about another 50 years, okay, until we completely just plummet. When people start getting their fucking brains together and realizing how shitty this country is, we're not the greatest country in the world anymore.
You see, everybody's trying to economically isolate themselves from the dollar now.
Yeah.
China has just stopped buying the dollar. They stopped buying bonds. Their only concern is strengthening their dong. That way, every single it's the name of it.
That's great.
But they want to strengthen their dong to the point that people trust the dong over the dollar.
Put some blood in it.
And then
I'll strengthen it.
We go over to these oil-rich companies and say, the only way you're allowed to trade oil is with the U.S. dollar.
Yeah.
And that's why our currency is still a currency. If it weren't for that, it wouldn't exist.
Well, and with these new energies coming, we're done, motherfucker.
Yeah.
50 years, we're done.
I mean, why do you think the oil is such a big deal in this country? Like, oil is is the biggest donator behind banks, or like banks and oil companies are pretty much even with donating to like PACs and just politics in general, and and that's.
But you look at. Here's the thing that scares me. You look at this election cycle. All these candidates aren't very good. Okay, but the thing is, we haven't had a good candidate in. I don't know when the last candidate was good. I would have taken John Kerry.
I would have taken John Kerry.
Yeah. I'd say he was probably the last legitimate candidate.
Well, they kept on shutting him down in the debates.
Oh, yeah.
Because he would talk about how he would always talk about how we need to get corporations and business out of the government, and we need to make it what it is supposed to be, and it's for the people. The moderator, who are owned by the networks...
Exactly. That's another big issue I want to talk about.
The moderator, who is owned by the networks, would always say, President Bush, you get the last word. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
It's bad. It's bad. You can't talk about the problem because you won't get elected.
Yeah. And that's the thing. We're not getting uncensored media anymore. We're getting politician bought out media.
And it's censored by the corporations, not by the government.
Yeah, which is ridiculous. And no one has said this, but, I mean, this is a different point, but Hillary Clinton, four of her top 5 donors are banks, okay? She doesn't want to break up the banks. I hate to break it to you. But then she also has Time Warner. That's the 5th one in the top 5. And Time Warner owns pretty much every single cable network on our televisions, which controls the media. That's why when Bernie Sanders does really well at a debate, Hillary Clinton still wins, which doesn't make any sense.
Because the media wants him to, they want him on, or they want her on top. Because she's not going to disrupt the current structure.
Yeah.
Bernie Sanders wants to expose all of this for what it actually is.
Yeah. Well, and another thing, like she's bought out by these military companies. Well, CNN's actually owned by these military companies that are making these drones that are killing people. That's why you don't hear about drone strikes in other countries, because we're paying for it. Well, they're paying for it. It's just ridiculous. And that's why I only give this country another 50 years.
It's all tied up in money. And then it's all going to move. It's all going to move over to China.
Yeah.
Whenever they turn into a full democracy, which they're looking towards currently.
Yeah, and they get developed and they get rid of all the pollution and
it's gonna happen.
They pretty much all speak English anyways.
Well, they just opened the biggest dam, the Three Gorges Dam.
Yeah.
That I read this probably like a week or two ago, that whenever that dam opened, it produced enough electricity for I don't know if this is 100 or like fact check me on this or
Where'd
something.
you get it from?
I read it online. I don't remember where, but I know
BuzzFeed.
yeah, but I know it said. It said that the dam alone produces the same amount of electricity as all of the UK's nuclear power put together.
I don't know if that's true.
I don't know if that's true either, but
nuclear's where we're at right now.
It's a big deal.
It's the best.
It is. It's the least. You get the most power for the least amount of waste.
Yeah.
Yeah. The solar looks pretty good.
Solar.
Yeah.
Anything except for oil.
Oil's terrible. And coal.
I don't care what your thoughts are on global warming or anything, but drilling into the fucking earth can't be good for the earth.
No.
How about we start drilling into you for some oil?
Have you? Do you know what fracking is?
Yeah.
That is so bad. They forced this. So the company, because they have a patent on the solution that they pump into the earth, they're not allowed to tell. They're allowed, or they're not. It's not that they're not allowed. They're allowed to not tell anybody, including the government, what it is.
Yeah.
So nobody actually is 100% sure what they're pumping into the earth whenever they extract natural gas, and they pump it down miles.
Oh, yeah.
That's not good.
Oh, yeah.
There were people up in northeastern PA.
The water was being tampered with?
No, their water would catch on fire.
Yeah.
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 It's crazy.
Well, and there have been a lot of, I mean, they haven't actually attributed it to sickness, but there have been a lot of sicknesses with drinking water.
I guarantee that's what it is.
Yeah.
And I watched a documentary. Have you ever watched Gasland?
No.
No? It came out 3 or 4 years ago. It's pretty old.
Okay.
It was right around whenever fracking became big. But
well, it's fucking humongous right now.
Oh my! But I mean, it was during the big fracking boom. Whenever everybody was like, "Oh, it's going to make us all have jobs. It's where all jobs are going to come from. Industrialize the USA again."
Yeah,
you know, that whole.
We went to remember we went to St. Francis for that science day.
Yeah.
And I did a bunch of like engineering and science ones that I checked off, and the one engineering one, the guy was an engineer, petroleum engineering, which is all fracking now. And so he was talking about fracking and everything, and he was saying how great it was. I'm like, why are they so blinded by this?
And what's crazy is that the Marcellus Shale and the other fracking companies have been able to brainwash the American public into thinking that this is clean American fuel that is only going to be used for Americans.
Yeah.
Did you see the ship? Have you seen the shipping or the big tanker ships in Philadelphia port?
No.
They are the biggest motherfucking ships on the planet, and they're weird because they have to how they have to take the gas overseas is they have to pressurize it into a liquid. So these containers look like big tits. They do. You look one up. They look like big tits on top of a ship.
Yeah.
And that's how they compress them in there, and then they ship it over into Europe. And you know why oil's coming down right now? Why gas is so cheap?
Why?
We're flooding the market with natural gas in Saudi Arabia and the Arabian Emirates and all those other oil producing countries. So that's why we see oil coming down to like $1. What is it?
$2.10?
$2.10?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or not oil, but gasoline. That's insane.
Well, this is all a thing with the censored media again. We can go right back to that. We're not getting this education from TV anymore. You can't sit down, turn on your TV, and learn about the world anymore.
You have to go
actually do some fucking research.
And find stuff.
And look for good news sources. You can't just hop on the internet either because it's all bought
That's
out
all
by
polluted.
people.
Yeah.
And you have to find smart people. You can't just find people. And it's hard.
Yeah.
You used to just turn on your television and they told you the truth, but...
Did you see the gas problem in California right now?
No.
It was I don't know if it was gas drilling or oil drilling, but out of a high pressure pipe, so many cubic feet of gas is escaping the facility every single day.
Okay.
And it's like a big bubble. Pretty much, if you took the Gulf oil spill and put it on land, and the liquid was air, or the fluid was air, because that's the fluid, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Except it's methane and other nasty gaseous chemicals are in the air.
That's probably not good.
No, it's terrible. And the gas company is going through these crazy lawsuits, and they're trying to get people to shut up about it. I'll get back to the Marcellus Shale about this because this relates to it, but they said that they're like trying to pay them off with like a $500,000 house and tons of money, and then just don't talk about this ever. Don't say that you have all this cancer now because they have tons of cancer. They have like lung cancer and it's bad.
It's gonna get as bad as the railroad.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's the same thing in northeastern PA with Marcellus Shale, except it's with the water.
Yeah.
And the people who refuse to take the money, of course they win the lawsuit because they can pay for the best lawyers in the world.
Yeah.
And they pretty much paid off the EPA. The EPA came through and tested their water, and they said, this was on the Gasland documentary. They were interviewing one of the people who lived in the area, and he said, an EPA man knocked on the door after testing our well. He said a week later he came back after testing the well, and he knocked on our doors, and he gave us the paperwork, and he said, your water is safe to drink. He said, but off the record, I wouldn't drink it.
That's crazy.
Isn't that insane?
That is insane. And that's, like, we need to stop. Obviously, the banks are too big to fail. But they're these massive corporations that are running, like, energy and everything. They're fucking too big to fail, too.
They're monopolies.
Well, yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
Everybody needs it now. It's a necessity in this world.
We look at, like, Penelec, and we look at People's Natural Gas and everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
What does it come to?
And
it's insane.
And it's all money, too. It's all... And the politics is run by the money.
It's gross.
Yeah, it is. It's disgusting.
I'm moving to Canada.
Yeah. Here's what I think it is. The Industrial Revolution Part 2, except it's the bankers' revolution.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the Industrial Revolution, we saw the Great Depression.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at the end of the banking revolution, we're going to see another Great Depression.
Oh, yeah. That's why I give us 50 years. I don't think we can survive another Great
Oh,
Depression.
my. I'm giving it 10 or 20, because the college bubble's too big. It's just too big. Yeah. It's the biggest economic bubble that has ever existed. The Great Depression was $20 billion.
Yeah.
The housing one was a couple $100 billion.
Yeah.
This one's like $2.2 trillion.
Okay.
The college one is that big.
Yeah, but is that factoring in inflation or?
No, but how much has it inflated since 2008?
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Like, a couple $100 billion versus...
Well, yeah, I guess from 2008. But I'm talking about the 19...
That's a completely different story. Obviously, like, you were super wealthy if you had $25 million back then.
Well, yeah.
You were equivalent to a multi-billionaire then, now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I remember, I was talking about Carnegie the other week, and I actually looked up his net worth. It was only, like, a couple million. Mm-hmm. But translated to now, he was, like, a super billionaire.
Oh, yeah. The Great Depression with the stock market was that's because people were getting loans for stocks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Investing in your future.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think investment for regular people is just a big scam.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Because it's happened twice. It's about to happen.
Well, it's kind of like the lottery if you think about it. But I mean, you get a better chance of winning. So they see it like that. Then.
Or it's not that you get a better chance of winning. You get a what looks like a better chance of winning. Yeah.
Which those guys are really good at hiding things. And
well, what they'll do, the market is a false market. The multi-billionaires will. This is an actual problem that happens all the time. What they'll do is say, "Hey, let's go in. We'll hype up a stock. We'll dump our billions of dollars into this one stock, and then everybody else is going to just stick a ton of money in there too. We'll make a ton of money off of it and sell it whenever it's high, and then it'll drop. Mm-hmm. Then the poor people are the ones that lose out on it."
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's actually an ingenious thing that rich people thought of. Instead of buying and selling commodities, we can just buy and sell money. It's so much easier.
It's very scary how a rich smart person is something to fear. Okay, we don't have to fear tigers and fucking bears anymore. We have to fear these people who are going to rip us off.
Yeah.
Because I don't like when dumb people get ripped off. Because I'm not very smart.
We're being ripped off in a much larger way now, though. Because you used to just be able to rip off from one thing and be like, "Bitch, I lost $150. Oh well."
Yeah.
Now it's like I lost my whole life savings. I'm in $20,000 debt.
In my car.
Oh my god, what am I gonna do?
In my garage.
I can't shower. I can't get a job. I'm fucked.
My monkey. The fucking monkey's gone. Yeah.
Everything's gonna be gone.
It's sad to think about.
Yeah.
Could you? I don't know if it would have been better back when America first started, or are we just exaggerating it? Is it not as bad as we actually think it is
today?
Yeah. I mean, we have cell phones, we have food, and yeah, but food's awful.
I think we've been tricked in to think we're better off, when in reality we're like slaves.
Pretty much.
Because we're just slaves. I mean, I feel like I'm just saying how much I hate capitalism over and over.
I mean, I don't want to compare us to slaves.
Yeah.
But...
Well, we're in debt.
Yeah.
But
we didn't get drug over here on a ship and.
Well, think about it this way. What if your house is just the new concentration camp? It's a prison.
That's a bit of a stretch.
Wait,
though.
well, it's your prison.
I see what you're trying to do, but that's a bit of a stretch.
But say prisoners. What's the best type of prison? One where the prisoners don't know that they're in prison, but they don't try to escape it because they don't know that they're in it.
Yeah.
And they do it.
I see it in that sense. You can compare it to a prison, but a concentration camp, I mean...
Okay, yeah.
People are being murdered in their homes.
That's true. But I feel like the society that we've been brought up into is like a prison, and they want us to exist in this prison where we just collect debt, or no, we don't collect debt. We attain debt, and then we slowly pay back that debt to banks, and then we get more debt for a house.
Yeah.
And then it's the same process. They want us in debt the whole time. That way, all of our money becomes their money. Do you know what mining towns were?
I can probably use my brain to figure it out, but go ahead.
In northeastern PA and a lot of other places all over the country, there were these things called mining towns, where a corporation would move in, and they would buy out all the land, and they would build houses, stores, and mines. And they wouldn't pay the people money. They would pay them chips that were good for food that you could buy at the company store, which was owned by the mining company. And pretty much what it was a closed system. There was only money going to the people on top.
Yeah.
And there was no money coming to the workers.
Yeah.
The only thing the workers had were that they would slowly get a retirement pension, and that's it. Yeah. And you'd have your coins to go to the company store to go buy company goods with money that's not worth anything anywhere else.
That's insane.
Well, if you think about it, we've worked ourselves into the same thing. We own houses that we don't own with money that we don't have or can't afford, so we borrow it from people.
Yeah.
And then we buy this house. Then all the money that we get from working, we just pay it right back to those people the whole time.
Yeah.
So they're still on top, and they keep us closed in a loop. The same thing as a mining town. It's just now it's globalized, and you can do it from your house on a computer. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't look like the same thing, but it is the same thing.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't compare it to a concentration camp or slavery, but
it's close.
It's close,
it's
but
close.
I mean, we're not being taken against our will.
I
understand your point, but I don't want to compare it to slavery.
I mean, I think the mining town analogy is a better description of what we live in.
Yes, that was a lot better.
The only difference between that and us is that we're being paid actual money, and
we get to hold on to it. Too.
Yeah, a little bit of it. Not all of it. Not very much.
But I mean, like, if you want to go buy a hot dog, you can buy a hot dog.
You can buy whatever you want.
Yeah.
But that's part of the illusion.
It is part of the illusion, but it feels better.
It does feel better. Yeah, and I think that's what it is. That we're just trying to distract ourselves from the reality.
Oh, of course.
We're living in.
Yeah.
In reality, we live in a terrible, terrible farce of a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's... Do you think our generation's fucked up?
I feel like our generation is pretty fucked up.
I don't know, though.
Well, they're invested in these cell phones and computers, and it doesn't really do anything. It doesn't make you creative. It just makes you into like the same thing.
Is that true? Because I think I personally benefit a lot from my cell phone. I think it depends what people are doing on their cell phone.
Most people don't do creative things with their cell phone.
Well, here's the thing. Like, when I go through some of my friends' Twitters and see who they're following, like, they're following their friends and stuff. Like, you're not gonna get... Like, I follow good educational things on Twitter, so I'm actually getting an education while I'm on Twitter. Mm-hmm. And I think if you use it like that, it's a good thing. And if you actually download educational apps and everything, and like my tablet and stuff, I just got a subscription to Nat Geo and everything. Mm-hmm. That's what I use it for. I use it for getting this education. And like when I actually need to know something, it's right there for me. I mean, that's really bad that I can't recall it in my head, but
that is
it's
just
there.
Right there. Yeah.
And eventually I start to pick up on it by just having it there. And I learn those facts. I think I think we're dumb. We're dumb. A lot of our society's dumb, and I think when you put these things into dumb people's hands, you get dumb things back.
Well, it's a tool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so tools are neither good nor bad. It all depends on who has control of the tool.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I see what you're saying in that aspect.
Yeah.
So,
well, I don't think you can contribute all of our like our generation being screwed up.
I don't contribute at all to that. It's a combination of that, and I don't know about you, but my mother would never talk to me about money ever. But my dad would always talk to me about money. So I always had
both my parents always did.
Yeah, I feel like that's a good thing.
Yeah.
But I don't think anybody does that. I don't feel like anybody wants to disclose their financial situation with their children.
Which I don't understand, because it's your kids.
You should understand. The children should understand that.
What are they going to go run and tell their friends, and then you're going to be embarrassed?
Yeah. Like, it's almost abuse to not tell your kid that, because then they grow up and then they don't understand anything.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Well, here's the thing. I think it was our parents' generation that screwed us up, because they were so protective with parenting because their parents were awful. That generation was awful at parenting.
That is true.
And then our parents, they're too protective, and they don't tell us enough to actually make us successful in life.
Yeah, whenever I hear stories that my dad did, and stories that his friends did whenever they were our age, I'm blown away.
Yeah.
Like, you guys could have died.
Yeah.
On a daily basis.
Just being let out alone.
Yeah. And he would go out into the woods and build cabins out of 2x4s,
Yeah.
and then people would burn them down. And like that's what kids were doing 20, 30 years ago.
Me, I wasn't allowed off of my property until I was like 6 or 7.
Yeah, at least without accompaniment. And then like, where do you go? You don't know what to do.
I started walking on the street when I turned 8.
Nobody wants to do anything interesting. Everybody just wants to sit around and play video games.
Yeah.
So you can't like actually go out.
Well, and that's what we learned to do because our parents just want us to stay in home.
I know.
And not ask questions.
And that's what I think it's a common. Like, video games are good too. It's just they can be abused.
Yeah.
Like anything.
I think everything's fine in moderation.
Yeah.
I don't. Except for. No.
Heroin.
Nah. Heroin can be good in moderation. I can't tell you I'm allergic to opiates, so.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know that because of your surgery, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I went in to get my appendix out. Which I just heard this fascinating story. I was listening to a Joe Rogan podcast last night. It was actually his year in review, and he had this chick on, and she was talking about this lady who got her appendix removed. But when she first met her, she didn't have hands. So she asked her about the hands, and she was like, oh, well, they got amputated. I was supposed to get my appendix out, and the doctor grabbed the wrong clipboard and came in, and he amputated my hands and my feet instead of taking out her appendix. Yeah, that was my reaction. I was so scared.
Oh my god.
That's scary.
That's insane. I hope she got a settlement for that.
Oh, I'm assuming, yeah.
Oh, and bionics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She didn't.
I would. I'd totally be Star Wars.
I mean, I'm assuming she got feet.
Prosthetic feet.
Yeah. But
they can make prosthetic hands that work really well now.
Yeah, look at Luke Skywalker.
No. They're working on brain technology.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's impressive stuff.
Well, have you seen the legs and stuff? Well, most of the stuff looks like actual hands now.
Well, the way how the legs work is just purely by geometry and weighting.
Yeah.
They just weight it like a regular leg, and it seems to work.
Yeah.
They don't need to put any like functioning ligaments in there or like things that actually make stuff move. It's just if you can still move your thighs, you're okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. Those neural pathways weren't destroyed. It was just the leg.
Yeah.
So.
It's awesome.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's amazing.
You see, it's great that we have all of that stuff, but then you look at these top people, and then they're fucking it all up.
Did you see that guy who made that who drove the price of that AIDS drug up 8,000%?
Yeah.
What
that
a
kid's
fuck!
going to jail, though.
What a fuck!
He's going to jail.
He deserves to be killed, I think.
Dude, I want him shot. I want that affluenza kid that we talked about on the last podcast. I want him shot. He got the best attorney in, like I was telling you, he was supposed to get deported, but he's still there. And he got the best attorney in Mexico, and he's trying to get out of getting deported. This kid's gonna get out of it, too.
It's crazy.
Fucking insane.
Mexico's so corrupt.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
El Chapo and...
It's like 1 out of every 8 murders is solved. Because...
That's like a New York statistic.
Well, they don't even deal with, like, trying to figure it out, because...
In New York?
No, in Mexico.
Oh, in Mexico.
Because if it turns out it's a cartel... Then that cop's family's all dead. He doesn't even have to ask that question. The cop's family is all dead.
You see, you think about it in terms of, like, we're not threatened by predators anymore. Mm-hmm. Like, big bears and saber-toothed tigers. But really, we're our own predator now, you know?
The human beings?
Yeah, human beings.
Yeah, it's really
We've kind of become...
class system.
Predator and prey of ourselves. Well, yeah, the whole class system.
That's why.
Yeah.
I mean, the cartels have so much money.
Oh, yeah.
It's the same thing with that. It's just money corruption.
Yeah.
It's weird.
It is weird. What else do we want to talk about? Got some cool stuff going on, right? With our hands, we're doing hand things.
Doing hand things?
Yeah, we're doing hand things.
Keyboard back here.
Irish Spring.
You think music's
made of spuds? Irish Spring soap.
Irish Spring soap?
Yeah, once they got their potatoes back, they started.
after the famine, they started making soap instead. It's got some clovers on there.
Oh yes.
Oi,
Oi.
it's original deodorant soap.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah, it is.
You were talking about music.
Yeah.
I kind of want to talk about band a little bit.
Oh, in high school?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, everyone wonders why I quit band. And
like
everything.
In college, why you don't do it?
Yeah. Well, because everyone comes up to me and they're like, "Oh, how's band going?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I quit cold turkey." I always tell them cold turkey too.
As you're wearing a music shirt right now.
Fuck this shit. All of my closet, okay. Band clothed me for like all of my life.
Yes, it did.
But I couldn't take it anymore. Like the whole director situation and the whole it always felt like pressure, you know. I don't know about you. You weren't in all of the stuff that I was for all those years.
Yeah.
But you had to perform well so that the director looked great. But the director didn't do shit.
The director also would pressure you into doing things you didn't want to do.
Not sexually, of course.
Yeah, no, but just like if you're not very involved in the music thing, but he thought you were a good player, he wanted you involved in it. But
like
then
he would push you to do like wind ensemble and jazz band. You really didn't want to do jazz band.
All that created for him was a problem.
Yeah.
He created himself a problem by doing that.
Yeah.
He should not push people into doing things that they don't want to do, or else it's just going to backfire on him later on.
Which is, it didn't feel natural to me anymore. Like when we were like 10th grade, band really felt natural to me. I really enjoyed it. I wanted to go into teaching, being a music teacher and everything. But then 11th grade hit, and I hit a big bump with advanced jazz band and everything, and there was just constant yelling all the time. There wasn't fixing problems anymore. It was just, you guys suck. We're not going to work on anything. You guys just suck. And I understand, college probably isn't like that. I understand that. But to an extent it might be. I mean, it's stupid to quit something because of what might happen. But it was just there was so much blockage, and I couldn't enjoy it anymore. I really enjoyed it in like 10th grade and junior high and everything, but
I think
it's sad that one person can ruin such a great thing for you. But
I think I know what you mean by the what you said earlier about how it just sort of hit, like it went downhill for you at a point.
Yeah.
It almost felt like it didn't feel natural anymore.
Yeah.
That was what you said.
Yeah.
Remember how I like messed around with the guitar and wanted to do that in jazz band? The reason why I didn't continue doing that was because I realized that it was going to make me hate playing guitar.
Yeah.
And I love playing guitar. That's my escape from all of my fears and things that are happening.
There was no fun happening.
Yeah.
It was, do this, play these notes, we're going to have this concert, you're going to do well for me, then afterwards I'm going to say great job, and then you're going to go home. Like,
That's it.
I want to have fun I mean, it's stupid to say I want to have fun. That's pretty stupid. But, like, I want to actually enjoy what I'm doing. I don't know if I have another life, you know? I don't know what's coming.
Yeah.
I don't...
And you don't want to waste your time doing things that you're not going to be having fun with.
No. I want to enjoy myself.
Yeah.
And the thing... I want to be happy, but I want to leave the world a better place than I got here. You know, and we're not doing that, so.
Well, and I know what you mean, because that's pretty much why I dropped out of business school.
Yeah.
Was that I just didn't feel like I was going to enjoy my life.
No.
And it was just going to be more of a chore for me to get through all of that than it would be for me to just do what it is that I'm doing now.
Yeah.
Because I would hate myself, and I would just not be having fun.
I don't want to... Money doesn't mean anything to me. I mean, I say that going to be an engineer, but I actually enjoy physics, and I actually enjoy solving problems, and coming to a conclusion on things. Like, some of these things, like psychology, it's just memorizing terms. How is that enjoyable? I mean, someone has to enjoy it, but I don't get it. I like doing new things. I like creating these new neural pathways so that I don't get Alzheimer's and die at 65.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of do want to die at 65.
I want to die at 45.
I was talking to my grandmother the other day, and she was like, yeah, it sucks getting old. You don't want to get old.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah.
That's
inevitable.
inevitable.
Like, I don't know when I'm going to die. It might be 100. I'm like, I don't want to live to 100. What would you even do? I don't
know. I don't think our generation is going to have as long of a life expectancy as our parents do.
Why do you say that?
Because they had to go outside and do stuff to have fun.
That is true. We have high obesity rates.
Yeah.
But video games are pretty fucking good.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And let me tell you something about Tasty Cakes. Pretty good.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So I try to avoid media until night. When the sun goes down, I can crash on the couch and watch stuff. But whenever the sun's out, I like to be out. I like to
I don't do that at school. I watch news all day at school and just read all day. I don't watch any
TV. I read a lot. I play a lot of music too.
Well, that's the thing I'm into now. That's what I've kind of replaced band with.
Is reading?
Reading, yeah. Which is a lot better for me. Mm-hmm. I mean, I understand playing music and everything's good for you, but reading and actually learning new things is better than... I just want to be the best me I can be. Mm-hmm. That sounds so generic and stupid. That's some dumb bitch's 2016 New Year's resolution.
You know, you want to focus on yourself, and that's good. But you don't want to focus on yourself in a monetary way. You want to focus on yourself in a happy way.
Yeah, and I want to do better things for other people and just be a good person. And that's part of this podcast. I want to turn a new leaf and be a new me and go out of my comfort zone. And just be able to expand yourself as a human being. Well, I took this class in high school, AP English, and it was seminar-based. And there were like 3 people who would always talk all the time, and I never really got words in. Plus, most of the time I just didn't want to talk anyways. But doing this is making me get out of my comfort zone and actually work on my communication skills and everything. Like, I'm awful. I have a lot of anxiety with talking to people, and that comes to a surprise with some people, but I don't know. I choose who I talk to. Yeah, I've noticed that, because whenever I first met you, we didn't really talk very much. Yeah. I was like, oh, he's pretty quiet. But then, when we became good friends, you have a lot to say. Yeah. You have quite a bit to say all the time. I think it's so stupid to say, but I care what other people think about me. I know. I don't. And I hate that. I'm really trying not to. I don't know how to change that. Really trying not to. I was out walking today, and people thought I was homeless. Did they? Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I was out walking around on a work day, and it's like 0 degrees outside. Yeah, they probably did. Yeah, but I don't care. I was enjoying myself. Who cares? Yeah, exactly. And but that's like, my mom makes those little comments when she sees people walking, like, along the road. Yeah. So she'll be like, oh, I don't... You don't know that person's story. Yeah, that's what I say to her, and she's like, "That I was just trying to say something." And I'm like, you don't have to just say things. Yeah, you don't have to just say that. You know, we can just have a conversation. It's been about an hour and 10. Really? Yeah. Oh, that's good. You want to wrap it up? Nah, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Okay. Are you feeling strong? I'm feeling strong. Wait, what time is it? What time is it? It's about 1:42. Ooh, we probably should wrap it up. Okay. Yeah, because I think people start coming home at like 2, and I'm not allowed to have people over, which is gay. Oh, so I have to go home? No, we can go hang out. We can go do other stuff. Oh, okay. Yeah, I wish you could stay, but I'd take you over to my dad's house. Okay. A little bit of an infestation at the moment. Hey, thanks for listening, guys. Thanks for listening. Please hit one of the thumbs underneath here. Give us some comments. Give us some feedback. Yeah. Love you guys. Big kiss. Goodbye.